Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Professor Yan. Thank you very, very much. And also for your great academic work over many years, and the book you gave me the day before yesterday. Thank you very much. It's my third attendance in this magnificent conference. That makes my friendship 3 years old with Professor Yang. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable guests, good morning. I'm very happy to be back in Beijing among good old friends to attend the Peace Forum, the World Peace Forum. The subject given to me today is regional security. Of course, our regional security, the Shanghai Cooperation Council regional security, and in which, of course, Afghanistan is one of the very critical centerpieces for reasons we all know too well. So I'll be mostly speaking about this subject, of course with variations. And those of you familiar with my remarks, I'm usually very brief, much shorter than other honorable speakers. But today, it looks like I'll be speaking for a little longer time. So dear Professor, bear with me. We are witness today to critical transformation processes that are reorienting the global order as we knew once. This has important implications, certainly for global security, and merits serious consideration for its impact and trickle-down effects on collective and individual regional security as well. We have emerging serious non-traditional challenges and threats, security threats, and issues that have mainstreamed and become increasingly intertwined with older problems. Need not mention climate change, water shortages, which we see especially in our part of the world, very, very visibly impacting security perception and threats perceptions as well. With far serious and complicated consequences for individual countries and larger regional security perceptions and all that, and on the economy of the peoples and livelihood and lives and all that. Ladies and gentlemen, our challenges therefore can no longer be viewed as single, distinct elements, capable of being addressed on their own alone. Innovative, multi-pronged strategies to combat multi-dimensional problems have to be mounted. And for this, no single country has all the resources available to go it alone and address it alone. A coalition of the willing, both at the global and regional levels, must work together to tackle the issues and the challenges that do not respect borders anymore. And we are all witness to it across the world, not only in our region. We are, in effect, only as strong as the weakest link in this chain of things and events and entities trying to handle the issues that we have. And in my view, ladies and gentlemen, among the many challenges that we now face, eliminating extremism and terrorism, religious extremism and terrorism, is our clear and present responsibility. In this respect, I will dwell on the single most outstanding terrorism and security challenge that necessitates a collective response, which, as you know, has manifested itself more vividly in my country, Afghanistan, than any other place in our region, or perhaps the world. Which, of course, by no means is the making of my country, the making of Afghanistan. Afghanistan is the victim only. History has already proven this. As we move into the future, more will be testified on this. What we witnessed in Afghanistan in the form of the rise of extremism and terrorism is clearly the result of circumstances imposed on us from abroad, from beyond our borders, from beyond our country. The tragedy of September 11 brought about massive change. The US and its allies, headed by the UN and major world powers, arrived in Afghanistan and were welcomed by the Afghan people in the hope of peace, in the hope of a better life for our country, in the hope of a better future for our country. Yes, we had, together with the US and their allies, major achievements as well. And there was hope definitely for a better future. However, America's stated aim of fighting and defeating extremism and terrorism began to falter. The conspicuous failure of the US's venture in Afghanistan followed as a consequence. Terrorism, unfortunately, grew further, and Daesh, the Islamic State, emerged as well. All of this was under the US watch and massive military, political, and financial presence. The tragic results of the bad policy decisions we see today are all thus tied to the same saga: funding for entities that mutate into agents of terror, bad policy that has as a consequence the mushrooming of extremism, not only in my country, but in the region. Examples are plenty. The TIM in China, extremism growing in our brotherly country, Pakistan, extremism and terrorism affecting India, all the way to concerns in Russia and the events in the larger region. All this, we hope, will come to a full stop, and very soon. And there is now hope for that. After 18 long years of military presence in Afghanistan, the US recently launched a peace process, which we, the Afghan people, and gladly our neighborhood and major powers, China and Russia, welcomed and supported. We hope this initiative will succeed for us, Afghanistan, and for the region. And success is crucial for all of us. But success will come only when two fundamental elements are met. Two fundamental requirements are addressed. One, the peace process must demand, as a requisite, the goal of a stable, progressive, and forward-looking Afghanistan that is sovereign in both letter and spirit. Two, America's withdrawal from Afghanistan must be undertaken responsibly, in coordination with our neighbors and the region, and especially with global powers who are both our neighbors, China and Russia. Recent successes in understanding between the United States, China, and Russia have been welcome signs. We saw the support to the Swedish initiative coming from Russia. Mr. Ivanov is there, my good old friend, and also from China. There was a round of talks between the special representatives of the three countries, the United States, China, and Russia in Washington, followed by the same talk talks in Moscow last February, and we will soon, what is today, Tuesday? The day after tomorrow, on Thursday, you will see the third round of talks taking place in Beijing between the same three countries. And we hope that during these rounds of talks, or in the subsequent future talks, we will also see the presence of Pakistan, the presence of our good close neighbor Iran, and also of India, who are substantially important in relations with Afghanistan, and also in addressing issues that are common to us all. Any help to our peace process from neighbors, from well-intentioned stakeholders, is a move in the right direction. A partnership for peace is always welcome, and there is no denying that foreign powers have had a long interest in Afghanistan. David Kaplan, or Robert Kaplan, I think Robert Kaplan, referred to Afghanistan in his recent book, The Revenge of Geography, as a breathtaking strategic country. Well, unfortunately it is true, unfortunately. I wish we were not that breathtakingly strategic, so these big guys would have not been so interested in us. But they are there now, and we cannot wish them away. A cooperation among all, from the West to the East, and cooperation especially among the Eastern countries is most significant. So let us hope that we begin to construct a new geopolitics of cooperation. And through the new geopolitics of cooperation, we arrive at better economies and better existence and better livelihood for all, and a security arrangement that will see to it that our major projects and our futuristic aspirations are not impacted by extremism or terrorism or the likes of it anymore. Thank you very much. Very kind. Thank you.
Mr. Karda, you gave us a very substantial approach for the peace process in Afghanistan. And representing all of the audience, I just want to clarify one thing. Just now, you said that China, US, and Russia going to have a trilateral discussion about the issue of Afghanistan. That's true?
On Thursday, yes, the day after tomorrow.
Okay.
Beijing.
Okay, I just clarify this information. Okay. Now I'm open the floor to audience. And if you have question, and raise your hand. First, identify yourself. Second, only one question, and no comments, and as short as possible. Okay, we start. Any question? Okay, over there.
I'm Jian Xi, a reporter from CGT, and thank you. This question is for Mr. Karda. So we know that the U.S. has approved arms sales to Taiwan. What is your take on this? How will this influence regional security? Thank you.
Well, ma'am, Afghanistan follows a one China policy. So we only recognize the People's Republic of China and no one else. So if the US has anything to sell, they should do it here, in Beijing.
Okay, I want to have a question for direct to this speech. Okay, not something else. Okay, over there.
My name is Andrew Cobb. I'm a Tsinghua University student. I studied with Yang Laoshi for one class once. Now, I had a conversation with one of my Afghan friends at a language university here in Beijing before, and it was how to stabilize Afghanistan to the point where people not only have security, but they also have a future, because a lot of terrorism, it occurs because of the lack of an economic future. So, in your opinion, what's more important, to have the security, that way you can later on build the economic stability, or have an economic hope first and then build stability off of that?
Both together.
If you had to prioritize one of them.
You see, there was a man who had traveled a long journey, and he was extremely tired and exhausted, and he came to a village, and somebody gave him home. And then the owner of the house came to him and said, would you like tea or lunch? He said, don't you have both? So we like to have tea and lunch both, security and economic well-being. Thank you.
Okay, anyone? Okay, here, please, but as short as possible, okay?
Yeah, of course. Hi, I'm with Xinhua News. U.S. envoy recently declares a lot of progress has been made between the talks between U.S. and the Taliban. What is your response to that? Thank you.
Okay, the one question, the very last question, and over there.
Thank you very much. My name is Raffaello Pantucci. I'm a think tanker from London. I wonder if you could elaborate, President Karzai, what does China being a guarantor actually mean in practice? Could you give us a bit of detail about what you're referring to when you say, does it mean more money? Does it mean PLA boots on the ground? Does it mean, what does China as a security guarantor actually mean? Thank you.
Two questions. Okay.
Well, to the first question, yes, we believe there has been some progress made between the United States and the Taliban, and we approve of it and endorse it. We only hope that it will lead to a lasting peace and security for Afghanistan. So the progress is, yes, truly made, especially in the last round of talks. Well, that's a very important question. That exactly was also the main object of my talk here today. By guarantor, I do not mean either boots on the ground or necessarily money, financial assistance to Afghanistan by China. I mean more in political and diplomatic terms of an arrangement between major powers and an arrangement then to that effect between our neighbors and regional countries, so that there is no need for anyone to worry about peace in Afghanistan or stability in Afghanistan, so that no one needs to use means other than good means for engagement with Afghanistan. That way Afghanistan will stabilize, and so will the region. It's more political, it's more an arrangement of mind and purpose between major powers in the region, of assurances always, of them towards us and from Afghanistan towards our neighbors and the larger region.
Thank you very much, and Mr. Karzai. You give us a very substantial talk and have a very substantial discussion without nonsense, and I really highly appreciate for your contribution. Thank you. Please join me, give him a big clap.